have some pre-germinated grass seed. Let's check it out. Hi, my name is JJ. I'm a state certified fertilizer applicator and pesticide applicator in the state of Maryland. Here's a picture of that pre-germinated seed. I made a video last year about the entire process of pre-germinated grass seed, and it did so well compared to the rest of my videos, it seems like it's the only one worth watching apparently. Well, I made a follow-up, and the original intent was to try to get this yard here renovated and growing again as quickly as possible. It's now since turned into more of a deep dive DIY how-to, and I think it will answer every single question you could possibly have about pre-germinating grass seed. This is the end, this is the authority. I'm not making another video on pre-germination. So please enjoy the video. If you have any questions, drop them below, and I'll be popping in from time to time to explain what I'm doing and my thought process. Thank you. Last October, I was literally just watching TV, watching football, and I wanted to see how quickly could I redo my yard. In addition to my leftover seed from overseeding other yards in the area, I went down and bought some seed from a local nursery. That's the seed tag right there, and this is me just prepping my grass seed. This is gonna soak for 12 hours. After 12 hours, you're going to dump out the water, put new water in it, and let it soak for another 12 hours. This grass seed has been soaking for a little over 24 hours. Now it's time to get it out of the water. We just took this out of the bucket. We have a dry bucket. We have submerged the grass seed in water again. I'm going to let it be in the water for a few minutes just until I get the rest of this grass seed soaked. Then I'm going to dump this water out and put this bag of grass seed back in the bucket without any water. I'm just going to leave it in the bucket without water. All 4 bags have been re-submerged in water. Now I'm going to dump it out. This is just to rinse it out, and letting the grass seed now dry out will more accurately reflect how it will be on the ground outside. Okay, this is the secret. We have a wet bag of grass seed in the bucket that we have rinsed off with hot water. We're going to leave it like this for 24 hours, and we're going to keep rinsing this off once every 24 hours by filling the bucket up with water, letting it sit for a few minutes, and then pouring the water out until we see germination. We are 48 hours in. Not seeing any real signs. Okay, not seeing anything yet. So this will be the second rinse that I do on this grass seed. Okay, went inside for about 5-10 minutes, let the seed hang out. Now I'm going to dump it out. Every single time I've done this, I've just dropped seed back in like this, and over the course of the 24 hours, the bottom of the bag stays wet. as well as the inside, and then the top dries out. I've never really had an issue with germination rates, but this time I'm just going to invert it, and I'm going to have the top of the bag now going in like so. I don't really think this is going to change anything, but just want to change it up and I want to let you know that I'm doing that. October 23rd, day 3. Let's check out our grass seed. Okay, we have some pre-germinated grass seed. Let's check it out. You may not be able to see that. I will take a better photo. But do you see the little roots coming out of both of those? That is exactly what we want. Let's talk about soil prep. So a quick and dirty explanation of what we're going to do to get this yard ready. First, I am going to mow half the height at what I actually want it to be. So what I mean by that is if the grass is at 4 inches right now and I want it to be around 1 inch during overseeding, I am going to cut it around 2.5 inches, around 2 inches. Then I'm going to go in with a dethatcher and I'm going to rake the grass up. Then I'm going to cut at 1 3/4 or 1.5 inches. Then I'm going to dethatch one more time in a different direction, and then I'm going to make my final scalping cut. That way I'm cutting the grass down to the height I want while also dethatching and picking up all of that excess material all at the same time. The video I shot earlier this year about summer survival, I actually sat in the grass right behind me and told you that I have a problem spot with brown patch there. And I've done some research and I know for sure that I have Rhizoctonia soloni living in the ground. We all do, but I have an excessive amount that that my grass can't handle when it gets past a certain threshold, and it can't tolerate it when it gets hot and there isn't enough water. So I will be changing how I treat that in the future so that I hopefully don't have to do this again. I cannot overstate how much material you're going to be dealing with if you do a proper dethatching and scalping. It's going to be about 3 to 5 times the amount of material you normally deal with when you do a mow. So keep that in mind if you do this process. This isn't necessarily thatch. This is just dead grass. Some people call it lawn litter. This is the grass blades that have sloughed off, died, been shed throughout the course of the year. This isn't really thatch. You're just kind of thinning out the yard so that you can get all of this out and the grass can thicken up again, because all of this kind of dead material, there's a little bit of live stuff in here, gets in the way. A true thatch layer is actually a part of the soil structure. You'll have your topsoil and then you'll have this kind of spongy, almost like mulchy bit. It's about, like that big, and if you have too much of it, that is the stuff that truly blocks nutrients from getting into the ground. So if you put down a fertilizer and you're not really seeing results, if you put down a pre-emergent or a fungicide, it will get locked in that thatch layer. If you can see the soil, if you can put your finger down and actually scrape up the soil, then you don't really have a true thatch layer. This is why I always recommend don't kill your yard, because if you have grass that just survived this one dethatching and another heavy through the soil dethatching, that's the grass that you want to keep in your yard. Those are the franchise players. That's what your team needs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 5 of this seeding project. Took me a little bit longer than I expected to get all of the material out of the yard yesterday with the dethatching and the scalping, but today we are good to go. I'm going to do one more rinse of the grass seed, so filling those buckets up to the top, letting them hang out for just a few minutes while I go do some odds and ends, and then I'm going to take them out of the bucket and I will let them dry out in preparation for putting the seed down, mixing that with Milorganite. Ran in, grabbed a Pop-Tart. Now it's time to drain. I really wanted to get the seed down yesterday, and for any of you following along doing this process, the second you see germination, that root coming out of the ground, put the grass seed down. You really don't want to do an extra day or an extra 2 days. Don't bite off more than you can chew, because you can always water for an extra day. You can always wait an extra day. But once you have a root coming out and they start to tangle and weave themselves into the paint strainer bag, that seed's done. You're not going to be able to get it out. The root's probably going to break. It's going to be too fragile. I would not wait that long. I would not wait till you see actual foliage coming out of the seed to throw the seed down. All you're trying to do is get yourself in the best possible position for a successful seeding. You're still going to have to wait for some type of mass germination with the rest of your seeding project. All right, before I put the seed down, I'm just going to blow these leaves off, make sure that every single seed has a chance to get good seed to soil contact. Once I do have the seed down, I'm not going to really worry too much about leaves coming onto the yard. I'll probably get out and blow them off maybe like every few days. It's totally okay to walk on your new grass. Check out that video that I do about your first mow. You'll be just fine. Let's talk ratios. Today I'm using 32 pounds of Milorganite and 16 pounds of grass seed. That is 2 pounds of Milorganite for 1 pound of grass seed. You can get away with a smaller amount of Milorganite when you pre-germinate grass the way I do. You see that seed right there? That's a root poking out. That is officially germinated seed. The key to victory here is to get the seed as dry as possible before you mix it. The whole point of the Milorganite is to dry out the excess moisture so that seed can flow properly through your hopper. So I soaked it here a few hours before putting it down. I think if I ever were to do this again, I would forego that. I might soak it like the night before or something like that. Grass seed's really resilient. You don't have to baby it as much as people think. But I would probably give it like a good 6-8 hours, just like really dry it out well, take the bags out of the bucket, put it on the gravel, just as little moisture as possible before mixing it with the Milorganite. Let's talk irrigation. What you see behind me is my absolute favorite sprinkler setup, personally and professionally. I've taken one of these in-ground sprinklers. This is an Orbit 5000 series attached to one of these tripod sprinklers that you can buy either at the big box store or on the internet. The only thing you need to do is attach a fitting here. So this is a 1/2 inch to a 3/4 inch. You'll find this in like the in-ground sprinkler section, or a 3/4 to 1/2 inch in-ground sprinkler adapter. I use a little bit of plumber's tape, screws right in, and with one of these little keys, usually comes with it, makes an excellent sprinkler that you can pick up, move, and adjust anywhere. A watering pro tip that I have for you is, for your first watering, go heavy. Don't do your 5 minutes every 3-4 days within reason, but sets the seed into the ground and gets it really wet. If you didn't pre-germinate it, this is gonna make sure that all the seed is getting sufficiently wet. So water heavy for your first watering, and then do your sporadic light watering for the rest of the time. Both of those sprinklers are going to be running off this sprinkler timer by Melnor. Now this one's okay. It only really gives you duration options for watering. So like every 4 hours, every 8 hours, every 12 hours. That's great, but it's really limiting. But the one I'm going to put right here is the one I use with customers. So I actually rent out sprinklers and hoses and the timer itself. This one is really good. It's a 4-zone and gives you the option to select individual cycles. So I can water for X amount of minutes at this exact time. And I can elect up to 4 options. So on my project yard house, for example, I'm watering something around like 6, 11, 2, and 5, and then it shuts off. So it's not one of those duration timers. Today is November 13th. Marty and I are going to give the front yard here a mow. It is 24 days since starting to soak the seed and 20 days since putting the seed down. So now we come to the mowing, and the original intent of this video was to show you how quickly this yard was going to get going. But a few days after I put the seed down, I got some temperatures where the lows were in like the 31, 32 degree range, and it just really put a brake on everything. There was no damage, there wasn't an issue, but the seed just shut itself down. So all I really did here was I just got out once a week, mowed the leaves off the yard, and I didn't really think about stepping on anything or damaging anything. I just made sure to mow when the grass was relatively dry, and eventually I stuck with the watering, and I had a great looking yard. So here we are at the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still intimidated at all by this process, then don't pre-germinate your grass seed. Don't worry about it. It is not essential to have a great looking yard. In addition to that, make sure you're seeding when the soil is above 55 degrees, not the air temp, the soil temp. So usually it lags behind. If things are cooling down, then the soil's still going to retain that heat. If things are warming up and you're out there in the 70s and have shorts on finally, the soil's still going to be cold. So keep that in mind. Thank you so much. My name's JJ, and this is the Lawn Lab.